The passing of Queen Elizabeth II marks the beginning of the reign of her son, King Charles III. Charles is known as the longest-serving heir to the throne in British history. And that fact has made him the best prepared and oldest new monarch ever to take the throne. On the contrary, his mother Queen Elizabeth was the longest-serving monarch who unexpectedly became queen at just 25 years old when her father, King George VI, died suddenly. Charles became king front the moment of the Queen's death, and now he is head of the Commonwealth, an association of 56 independent countries and 2.5 billion people. For 14 of these countries, as well as the UK, the king is head of state. These countries, known as the Commonwealth realms, are Australia, Antigua and Barbuda, the Bahamas, Belize, Canada, Grenada, Jamaica, Papua New Guinea, St. Christopher and Nevis, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, New Zealand, Solomon Islands, Tuvalu. He's also the titular head of the Church of England, head of military and judiciary, and carries a host of other royal titles and duties. Charles will likely be crowned within the year. The ancient ritual of the coronation requires advanced planning, although a lot of that has already been done. But there hasn't been a coronation since June 1953 when the late Queen was crowned. However, in recent years, Charles has taken on several of the Queen's duties due to her health condition. And in contrast to the Queen, Charles is known to express his views on social and environmental issues. In 2004 and 2005, he even was wading into the highest levels of politics. That was a clear violation of the monarchy's neutral and ceremonial role in British politics. He is expected to try to act as a unifying force, making more visible efforts to connect with ethnic minorities and disadvantaged groups. People anticipate greater royal patronage of the arts, music and culture. There were talks that Charles favors a more streamlined royal family. It's likely to mean a greater emphasis on a smaller core group of working royals. But the greatest challenge facing Charles will be his ability to match the popularity of his predecessor, which was largely untainted by the scandals of those around her. And now as the country enters the era of Charles III, here's what will change: that the UK has its first king in 7 decades. In 1960, Queen Elizabeth II became the first monarch featured on banknotes printed by the Bank of England. Following the monarch's death, the banknotes and coins will be replaced with alternatives, featuring the head of the new monarch, King Charles III, in this case. However, the replacement will likely take 2 years before the old currency is phased out. Written in 1745, the national anthem has often switched back and forth between God Save the King and God Save the Queen, depending on the sex of the monarch. Thousands of flags in the UK are emblazoned with EIR, an abbreviation for Elizabeth II Regina, and will have to be replaced. Military regiments fly Queen's colours, many of which are studded with a golden embroidered EIR. Royal warrant is granted as a mark of recognition to the people or companies who have regularly supplied goods and services to the Queen, the Duke of Edinburgh or the Prince of Wales or their households. From tomato ketchup to boxes of cereals and perfumes, the Queen's royal warrant currently applies to more than 600 businesses. The royal warrant appointment of these brands will depend solely on the new king, who will decide if they wish to issue a new warrant. However, they will likely lose their status following the Queen's death. British stamps, unless they are special editions, feature the Queen's portrait, while mailboxes are embossed with her ER royal cipher, which stands for Elizabeth Regina. Royal Mail said and used stamps that had already been issued remained valid, and that it would consult with Buckingham Palace before making announcements about stamps featuring the new king at the appropriate time. Existing UK passports currently read, Her Britannic Majesty's Secretary of State requests and requires in the name of Her Majesty all those whom it may concern to allow the bearer to pass freely without let or hindrance. It's still unknown when passports will be updated to refer to the King.